little fox.
People in the news. Oprah Winfrey. Welcome back to People in the News, Little Fox's biography show. This week we'll be talking about American talk show host Oprah Winfrey. She's one of the richest and most successful women in the world today. But Oprah wasn't born wealthy, was she, Ben?
No, Olivia. Oprah was born into poverty in 1954. She spent her first 6 years living on a farm with her grandmother, Hattie Mae. The farm was very isolated, so Oprah's only companions were the farm animals and a doll that her grandmother had made from a corn cob. Despite not having any money, Hattie Mae was able to introduce Oprah to books, teaching her to read at a young age and instilling a strong love of learning. By the time Oprah was 3 years old, she was memorizing speeches and performing them at church. People were amazed by the little girl's talent for public speaking. But life changed for Oprah when she was 6. She went to live with her mother, who didn't place much value on education. She complained when Oprah read books, and she accused Oprah of thinking she was better than other kids. Suddenly, Oprah was being told that she shouldn't be smart, and this was very confusing to her. But Oprah's interest in learning couldn't be suppressed. When she started kindergarten, she quickly realized that she was brighter than many of the other students. So she wrote a note to her teacher saying she was too smart for kindergarten. The teacher agreed, and the next day Oprah was moved up to first grade. Oprah eventually went to live with her father, who insisted that Oprah get good grades. Another important influence was her 4th grade teacher, Mrs. Duncan, who encouraged Oprah to read a lot and often stayed after school to help her with schoolwork. Most importantly, though, Mrs. Duncan taught Oprah that, despite what anyone said, Oprah should be proud of herself for being smart. She's never forgotten that important lesson. After winning a beauty contest when she was 17, Oprah got a job as a newscaster at a radio station. During her sophomore year of college, a local television station offered her a job as a news anchor. Oprah was only 19, and she was already on TV. That was a difficult time for Oprah, though. She was starting her television career while still going to college. She went to classes in the morning and then worked at the station until 10 o'clock at night. She often stayed up until 2 or 3 in the morning, studying and doing homework.
How did Oprah go from being a news anchor to having her own talk show?
Well, Oprah wasn't a very good news reporter. When she was talking about tragedies, crimes, and other events, she often got upset and showed too much emotion. So the station moved her to an early morning talk show where she could be herself and interview guests in a more relaxed atmosphere. After filming her first episode, Oprah knew right away that hosting a talk show was what she wanted to do for her career. In 1984, Oprah moved to Chicago to host another talk show. Oprah did really well, and the show's name was soon changed to The Oprah Winfrey Show. Within a few years, it was the most popular talk show in America, eventually turning Oprah into a billionaire, as well as one of the most influential people in the world. The Oprah Winfrey Show ended in 2011. While it was on the air, it featured interviews with many famous people. But it also broadcast many inspiring stories about ordinary people who had dealt with tragedies or overcome challenging circumstances. Oprah often used her show to talk about important social issues, such as race, child abuse, and AIDS. She was open to talking about her own life, too, which was a big reason for her popularity with TV viewers. In one famous episode, she invited her former teacher, Mrs. Duncan, on the show. Many years had gone by, but now Oprah could tell her favorite teacher just how important she had been to Oprah. It was a special moment for both women. Oprah's show also provided an opportunity for her to share her love of books. She started a segment called Oprah's Book Club, in which she selected a new book to read each month. Audience members read the book along with her, and at the end of the month, Oprah invited the book's author to appear on the show. Most of the books Oprah chose became instant bestsellers, and her segment encouraged millions of people to read. Oprah is also passionate about acting. In 1986, she was nominated for an Academy Award, an important film industry award, for her role in the movie The Color Purple. Her interest in movies led her to start her own production company, Harpo Productions, which has made several movies based on books Oprah likes. But Oprah isn't only involved in the entertainment business. Over the years, she has frequently used her enormous wealth and influence to do important charity work. In 1998, she created Oprah's Angel Network, a charitable organization that encourages people to volunteer and help others who are less fortunate. Oprah's Angel Network has helped to build homes and schools around the world, as well as provide books and school supplies for disadvantaged students. In 2007, Oprah established a new boarding school in South Africa, the Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy for Girls. Oprah is very involved with this school for academically gifted girls. And guess what, Olivia? She even picked out the girls' bed sheets!
Thanks for the interesting report, Ben. It sounds like Oprah has never forgotten her own poor childhood and the important role that education played in her success. Well, that's it for this edition of People in the News. See you next week, Little Fox readers.
People in the News. Barack Obama. Hi there, and welcome to this week's People in the News. Today, we have a very special person to introduce to you. Barack Obama, the 44th President of the United States. He made history in 2008 by becoming America's first African-American president.
He sure did, Ben. But Barack was making news long before that, as an attorney, community activist, writer, and senator. He was born in Hawaii in 1961. His parents were quite young when they got married, and they divorced when Barack was just 2 years old. His father eventually returned to his native country of Kenya. Except for a brief visit in 1971, Barack never saw his father again. Around 1967, Barack and his mother moved to Indonesia with his mother's new husband. Life in Indonesia was very different from life in Hawaii. Barack was astonished by the amount of poverty in the country. The sight of starving children and beggars had a huge impact on Barack, and he thought it was unfair that people had to live under such terrible conditions. Barack's mother believed he'd get a better education in America, so she sent him back to Hawaii when he was 10 years old to live with his grandparents. At first, it was difficult for Barack to fit in with the other kids. He was one of the only African-American students in the school, and he'd just spent the last 4 years living in another country. Barack was a good student, but it wasn't until college that Barack became very serious about his studies. He often skipped going out with friends so that he could study instead. He also started reading about extreme poverty and human rights abuses, and grew determined to find a way to help fix these problems. After college, Barack worked for a while as a business writer. He was earning a good salary, but he felt that something was missing from his life. He wasn't helping anyone. So he quit his job and moved to Chicago, Illinois to work as a community organizer. Now Barack's job was to help people who lived in one of Chicago's poorest neighborhoods. He spent long days walking around, getting to know people, and seeing many of the problems they faced. With Barack's encouragement and assistance, some residents were able to pressure city officials to make improvements, such as fixing roads, repairing plumbing, and removing asbestos from homes. Barack believed he could help people more if he had a law degree, so he entered the prestigious Harvard Law School. While there, he was elected president of the Harvard Law Review, a very important academic publication. This position would have guaranteed Barack a high-paying job in a big law firm when he graduated, but he didn't care about making a lot of money. He was still committed to public service. When he graduated from Harvard Law School in 1992, Barack returned to Chicago to teach at the University of Chicago Law School and work as a civil rights attorney.
Why did Barack eventually get involved in politics?
He felt he could do more for people if he was helping to write the laws that affected them. Barack decided to run for a seat in the Illinois State Senate and was elected in 1996. As a state senator, he supported many laws that helped poor families. He also worked to expand health care for children, create tax breaks for low-income workers, and improve working conditions for many people. He helped to pass laws that protected individuals' rights, and he fought corruption in the government. Barack knew that in order to make progress in the Senate, it was often necessary to compromise with others who held different views. He became known for his willingness to listen to and respect others' opinions. His success as a state politician gave him the confidence to run for a seat in the House of Representatives in 2000.
Did Barack win that election?
No, but he won 4 years later when he was elected to the U.S. Senate. As a senator, Barack continued working on things to help the poor. He lobbied for tax breaks for low-income citizens, energy independence, and improved education. He also helped write a law that provided more government accountability. But he was the newest senator, which meant he had the least seniority, and he didn't get much respect from other senators. Even though he played a minor role in the Senate, Barack was becoming very popular with the American public. He had delivered an important speech at the 2004 Democratic Convention, and he was the author of 2 best-selling books. His first book, Dreams from My Father, was a memoir, and his second, The Audacity of Hope, outlined his political beliefs and vision for America. As his popularity spread, other candidates started asking him for help with raising campaign money and invited him to speak at rallies across the country. By now, Barack started to think about running for President of the United States. He knew it wouldn't be an easy campaign. At the time, every American president had been white, and many people didn't think an African American could get elected. But Barack was immensely popular with much of the American public. So in 2007, he announced that he was running for president. And on Election Day in 2008, a record number of people turned out to vote. The majority of those people voted for Barack. Late that night, it was determined that America had elected its first African-American president. In 2012, Barack was elected to a second term.
Thank you, Olivia. Barack's election was certainly an important moment in American history. See you soon, Little Fox readers, for another edition of People in the News!